And this list that Pram is playing, I believe, is the same one that we saw Jimmy Pendarvis play all the way back in round 2. The most important thing, obviously, the 4 Great Ball and the 4 Judge. So, you know, we saw what Jimmy did to a Buzzgarb in that round, but, you know, totally different matchup here with the Weavile and Isaiah, of course. Very good player as well.
Looks like Pram has an Ultra Ball, debating what he wants to do. Gonna start with a Nest Ball, though. And probably just going to get a Zorua here. You want to get your Zoroarks set up and running. It also does depend on what's in the rest of his hand.
Yeah, with those 3 Devour Field, Pram has the ability to knock out a Buzzwole with Zoroark with Ride beating for 130. So he's not terribly scared of that Buzz right now. He's not at that 4 prize thing, but also gets some sort of energy down as well, I think.
He does have a DC in his hand. He could attach that to the Rockruff, maybe. Try to set up for a Claw Slash next turn. We saw that, you know, I think Jimmy kind of favored Lycanroc in his game. Looks like Pram's going to actually just grab a Lele here. Going to go grab Lily. Of course, being his first turn, he can utilize Lily to full effect. Yeah,
and Pram, no stranger to Lycanroc's utility. You know, last season he won Memphis Regionals with Zoroark, actually. And then he did very well with Buzzrock throughout the entire season. Yeah. So he's a big fan of Lycanroc. Likes the power that it has and its utility, so would not be surprised to see him go aggressive, as we see with the fighting attachment to the active.
Yeah, he was able to have fighting in his hand, didn't have to attach a double colorless, and we see Great Ball coming out. Man, last round we saw Wink Wink. Today we've seen Great Ball twice now.
I think there's a Zorua there.
I think moving into day 2 of this tournament, assuming a couple of these players that are playing this deck make it in, there will be more Great Balls in day 2 than there have ever been in a regional championship before.
Also, if I remember correctly, I don't believe Jimmy ever got a card that he could play with Great Ball, either an Evolution when he didn't need them, or Basics when he couldn't use them. So this might be the most successful Great Ball of all time. We'll see what he does from here. This is a pretty good setup for him, honestly, and he passes.
Yeah, Kukui looks like the supporter of choice from Isaiah, so not great. He doesn't look like... He does have 1 switch in his deck, so he could get this Buzzwole active. If he was able to pull off switch plus Deancey Prism Star, he could knock this out. There's the 1 of switch. Does he have Deancey Prism Star? Or maybe even his Beast Energy? He'd be able to use either of those to knock out this Rockruff.
Well, he has Deancey in play.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it was his active Pokemon. That's why I missed it. So, yeah, 70 damage right away. Gonna just take that knockout.
So that's unfortunate. Pram was hoping he didn't have that specific combination of cards. You know, he can respond with a knockout here, but going with that Lycanroc early would have been really good for Pram.
Yeah, so. He had the Lycanroc and DC in his hand ready to go. And now he's kind of left reeling a little bit. What do I do to respond to that? That's a pretty great draw from Isaiah. You know, he plays 1 copy of Switch, and he was just able to find it this early. So we'll see with Pram's hand here. What does he want to do? You got to imagine... I mean, he could just get the knockout on this Buzzwole this turn, and then Isaiah's left with no great Pokemon to promote. So Pram's not necessarily even in a bad spot yet.
Yeah. And a knockout here would give him a turn next turn to start powering up a second Lycanroc, or a second Rockruff, to actually get that Lycanroc into play. He's opting for a Judge here. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he already had a Judge in his hand, so I'm a little confused by that. Maybe he was looking for something else that could be in his prize cards, maybe Mallow or something, or his Cynthia, if he doesn't have access to his Cynthia.
Maybe he's just... Oh, he is opting to play it. So this is interesting. If he doesn't get a Zoroark here... he's just going to have to retreat this Zorua, which costs a double. But if he does get the Zoroark and 2 more Pokemon, this is a pretty big swing turn. I wonder if maybe it was better to just go for like a Cynthia to just guarantee your chances of doing this.
I think that's what he was looking for, but he does only play 1 copy of it, so there's a chance it's actually in his prize cards. So unfortunately, I think that might be the case here. Not sure, though.
But if I know anything about Pram, he's told me he'd rather be lucky than good. So we'll see if he gets Zoroark. I think I do see a Zoroark there.
Looks like it. I think that is a full art Zoroark.
That is perfect. So now he needs to trade into 2 basic Pokemon here.
If anyone can do it, it's Michael Pramawat. Let's see it right now. There is a fighting energy.
It's a 1 basic.
Ooh, and Great Ball can find him another.
Oh no.
7 cards, needs a basic Pokemon. There's
I
the
think there is
Zorua.
one. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Suddenly, this Judge looks like the optimal play now that he's able to pull off the combo here. Of course, if he whiffed basics, Judge was a misplay, but Pram, of course, always plays optimally, and that is so huge, disrupting the buzz, disrupting Isaiah, knocking at the buzz. Wow.
Yeah, and there's several items in Mike's discard pile at this point, but not enough to where Trash Lunch is going to be doing too much. Looks like Isaiah's playing a Rescue Stretcher. Just going to get a Garbiter. See a Choice Band in his hand, so that could boost his damage a little bit. Looks like he's going to opt to put it on the Buzzwole, though.
He has a Lily. Yep, it's a Lily for 6. So this is a good response by Isaiah. I like to get a Rainbow Energy. He also runs a copy of Unit Energy. That's not the correct Unit Energy. So
yeah, he can use that one with Buzzwole and the Weavile. He can't use it with Garbiter, though.
He does have a Counter Energy, though. So Counter Energy would activate here and allow him to Trash Lunch.
Actually, no. Yeah, they're both at 5 prizes, so Counter Energy wouldn't quite work because he was able to get that Kukui knockout.
Yeah, you're right. That's my bad. So it looks like he actually just passes with this Garb in play. Obviously, if I'm Pram now, maybe ideally I get another Zork and a DC and like I don't know, Devour Field, but never mind. He's just going to kill this Garb.
So I wonder if that was a Kukui or a trade.
A good question, actually.
I'm sure we'll find
know.
out soon. If Pram plays another supporter, then it was a trade. If he doesn't, and if he discards another card from his hand, it was a
He's
Kukui.
eyeing Guzma.
Yeah, looks like that was a trade away of the Kukui, and then now brings up Tapu Koko, retreats, and he's going to take out the Slugma, which is just huge. Isaiah does play the 2/2 Mag Cargo, but getting rid of this Slugma when Isaiah doesn't have another one in play is exactly what Pram wants to do.
Yeah, so Pram attaches the fighting to the Koko. Obviously not where you want it, but he does run a copy of Multi-Switch, so maybe turns down the line. He can shift it over to the Lycanroc when he's ready to attack with it. Isaiah had the Macargo in his hand, but now I think his only draw supporter is Kukui.
And Isaiah just needs a fighting energy here. He's on Sledgehammer turn, so this is huge for him if he can find it. If he can't, though...
there's a rainbow right there.
Okay, he does have the energy that he needs, so he'll at least be able to make it happen, but it could have been scary for him for sure.
He also does have a Lily. The thing with the rainbow energy, though, is it puts the Garb at 120 damage, which means that another Zora can clean, hit it for 120 and take it out. So, but it's a big turn for Isaiah. Goes down to 3 prizes. This is it's pretty back and forth here.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell these players definitely know what they're doing. I'm sure they've probably, each of them have played the other matchup at some point throughout the day, so they're familiar with the strategy they want to try to execute. As we just see Pram go ahead and get Zoroark in play, uses Mallow right away.
Yeah, so if I'm Pram, maybe I grab, so he grabs a double obviously to attack. Maybe he grabs a Rockruff, maybe a Devoured Field. Looks like he's eyeing another Zoroark as well.
I think he has a Nest Ball in his hand, so he can get the other basic he needs.
Okay.
And yeah, just wants to get multiple trades up and running.
Is there another good basic for him in the deck? There is a Rockruff, I think, still. He is running the 4/3 Lycanroc line, so there almost certainly is a Rockruff.
I think he opted to take Devoured Field over the Zoroark.
Okay.
So he'll need to trade, then use the Nest Ball, get another Pokemon. I think he just wants to get rid of that Shrine. He wants to prevent it from getting too much damage in play. It can definitely start to stack up very quickly. So you want to avoid that at all costs. Trades away the DNC Prism Star.
Yep. So that's interesting. We saw Jimmy use DNC Prism Star to great effect with the Lycanroc earlier, being able to knock out Buzzwoles in one hit. But maybe Pram realizes that Zoroark's going to have to carry the load in this one.
Yeah, I think his other option as a card he could have discarded was a Lily, and he wants to have some sort of supporter option next turn, so I think it was just kind of the lesser of two evils. And plus his bench is a little clogged up already. He's had to use 2 Tapu Leles this game, so yeah, I think this is just kind of what Pram had to do.
So Pram is now outside of Sledgehammer range. I don't know how many items are in his discard pile, but probably Garbodor will probably be able to do a hefty amount. But Pram does run an Acerola, so he could negate at least one turn of attacks like this if he can find it.
I wonder if we'll see Isaiah go for Sneasel at any point. Maybe waiting to see if Pram gets 4 abilities in play. Maybe puts one more Zoroark out. And that could be why Pram, maybe if Pram knows that Isaiah plays the Weavile. Maybe that's why he opted not to take that Zoroark with the Mallow last turn, wanting to keep as many abilities out of play as he could.
Yeah, could be also that he realized maybe if he didn't find a counter, like you said, to the Shrine, then it's just 4 GXs taking Shrine ticks instead of none.
Right.
So looks like he grabs a Baby Buzz with his Nest Ball, and he's playing a second Nest Ball. He was eyeing that Sneasel earlier.
So we'll see if that comes into play or not here. Eyeing it up like we said, and I think once, looks like he's going to just get a Trubbish. I think once the Sneasel comes out, once Pram knows for certain that it's in the deck, it's going to change the way he plays.
Yeah, absolutely. He also has that Rockruff there, so I would imagine if that Sneasel comes down, I bet Isaiah is waiting for the Rockruff to evolve, so that way he knows it's safe. You know, it forces Pram to have a Guzma that turn as opposed to something, you know, a different supporter. So I don't hate the Trubbish here.
Yeah,
Trash Lance is going to start doing a lot more damage as the game goes on. See a smooth over. Didn't see what he took.
It looked like a Professor Kukui, but I'm not positive.
Isaiah does run. He runs 2 copies of that. So he used one on the second turn or whenever that was to knock out the Rockruff.
So this would be his last one if that's what he opted for. See if he has a way to get it this turn. He hasn't played a supporter, so he could. I think he might have a Lily in his hand.
Does?
It was
It's
a Rainbow energy.
Okay. To attack with the Garbodor. I don't know how much damage this Garbodor is doing.
Find out very soon. One thing that Pram definitely loves to see is the fact that, you know, the only way Isaiah can attack with Garbodor is by putting a Rainbow energy on it, which makes it easy for Lycanroc to knock out because you do 110 damage exactly, adds up, and yeah, I think we're at 110 damage, so it looks like there's 6 items in the discard. So after resistance, doing 100, then 10 from the Devoured Field, the Shrine of Punishments.
Pram Lele's for 5. Good clean Lele. You know, probably wants another Zoroark here.
If he could draw multi-switch plus the Lycanroc, he can maybe try to set something up. There's Lycanroc. Don't know if he has the multi-switch or not. And at that point, he's putting multiple abilities in play.
If I'm, you know, he would discard the double, so he'd be using Dangerous Rogue this turn.
Sure.
So if he did that, I mean, what's the biggest target? Is it the Macargo?
Yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I also think taking out, like, the DNC Prism Star just really limits the Buzzwole's damage output for the rest of the game. Like, they can't really do too much. But you can also just take out the Magcargo. It's his whole draw engine. So, you know, both are definitely options.
Pram is thinking here. I would at least probably attach to the Rockruff.
Sure.
You know, you want to be able to swing with the next turn because he has a DC in his hand for the turn after that, and he is actually opting to knock out this Macargo with the Zoroark.
It's interesting. He does have a DC in hand, so he could have maybe done this with the clean Zoroark, but I think he doesn't want to use... there's no other Zoroark in play, of course. It's just the Zorua, so... yeah, I think this is his best option based on the cards he drew.
Now Pram knocks out the Macargo. He goes down to 2. I think Isaiah will be able to knock out this Zoroark this turn.
Yeah. You know, he did 100 damage last turn, and then there was 110 on it because of the Shrine. So now he'll be up to 100 damage once again this turn. So 210 exactly will be able to knock out Zoroark.
And if he does that, then he's down to 1 prize, and that's when things can get a little dicey for Pram. He touches the Beast Energy. That's big. That'll do, you know, that'll help him do a lot more damage with this Buzz.
Yeah, I mean, if he may have just top-decked the Beast Energy. If he had it in his hand, I would have liked to have seen him just send up the Buzzwole, because then you can get the knockout on this Zoroark because of Fighting Weakness, and then you keep the Garbodor with the Rainbow Energy on the bench, ready to attack next turn.
Yeah. Isaiah plays the Cynthia. Honestly, if I'm Isaiah here, I think I try and find the Sneasel, right? Because now the Lycanroc is in play, so Sneasel is safe on the bench. And Sneasel would be able to knock out, or Weavile would be able to knock out either of those Lele.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what he would like to find here. Does still have Nest Balls, does still have Ultra Balls. See if he can make it happen. I think there is a Nest Ball in his hand. See if that's what he opts for.
Here we go.
Looks like he's going to eye up another Slugma. Maybe saying Magcargo could still just potentially win me the game next turn.
Fair enough.
Also depends on the rest of his hand. He very well could have drawn the Sneasel and we just haven't seen it yet. Shuffling up here, he'll take a knockout on the Zoroark GX this turn. And from there, what does Pram need to do to respond to that and still give himself the best chance to win this game?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, for starters, he wants... Oh, it's tough. He has the Coco in play as well. And the Coco would be knocked out by a Buzz, by that Buzz with the Beast Energy just on weakness alone. That's tough. I think maybe if he can judge here and just kind of hope that Isaiah doesn't find a Guzma. Pram doesn't run any sort of enhanced hammer or anything. He's playing an Acerola. I guess he's just hoping Pram doesn't have Guzma, but Isaiah just shows him the Guzma.
Oh.
And they will be going to the second game. So Isaiah Williams, very clean game, very well played by him. Kind of just kept his cool the whole game.
Yep.
And eventually, Garb has that inevitability. Eventually, it'll get there and start taking these prizes.
Yeah, that was, I think from Pram here, there was just a couple of turns where he didn't quite get exactly what he needed. I mean, and honestly, it kind of goes back to that second turn where Isaiah was just able to get that huge switch plus Kukui play to knock out Pram's only Rockruff. If Pram hadn't had his Rockruff knocked out, he was going to be able to take multiple prizes, most likely with a Lycanroc GX, with very few items in his discard pile. There's not much Isaiah can do to respond to that, but Isaiah was able to make quick work of that Rockruff, and yeah, I think that's kind of what the turning point in this game honestly was.
So, kind of building on that, if I'm Pram, do I want to alter how I played that at all, or kind of just hope that this time, my draws are a little better?
I mean, I think, I don't know that you really change anything. Isaiah just got, I mean, I don't want to say he got lucky, but it was definitely just fortunate for him to have his one copy of Switch in his, first two hands. And was able to pull off those plays. I think Pram, made the best plays he could have based on what he saw on the board and based on, probability and all that stuff. It just turns out sometimes your opponent has the cards they need to pull it off. So Isaiah played the rest of that matchup smart and was able to come away with the victor.
So if I'm Pram, hopefully in this game I can get a Rockruff with an energy on the bench.
Yep.
And that way I can use the Lycanroc to sweep. Kind of how Jimmy was doing way back in the second round. We see a Zorua as his opener, so I think there's a Lele in there as well. This is a pretty good opening hand for Pram, I believe.
Zorua is always kind of a scary opener, right? Because it can just very easily get knocked out by Buzzwole. But I mean, at the same time, it's also the easiest thing for you to attack with on the second turn of the game, to use Riotous Beating with Zoroark GX. So it's kind of a catch-22 in this matchup specifically, and looks like Pram getting things going with a Nest Ball. Also has a Ultra Ball, can maybe find a Rockruff with this, or maybe finding a Tapu Lele to grab that Lele we saw him use in that first game.
He's eyeing a Judge, actually. Isaiah did take a mulligan, so Isaiah's hand is now at 7. So maybe Pram is thinking, I can judge him and hope he doesn't draw out of it, and he does do that. Very interesting play. Kind of favoring the disruption over a possibly better setup with like a Lily or a Cynthia.
Yeah, just taking away your opponent's extra card is never bad. I mean, Isaiah's deck is just kind of inherently a little more clunky in the early turns of the game, so a turn 1 Judge can actually just easily net Isaiah 4 dead cards that aren't playable, and then he could just lose on the next turn. So we'll see what he gets on these 4, and if this disruption strategy you were mentioning pays off for Pram.
Saw earlier in an early round, Christian Ortiz did this in the first game, and he bricked hard off of his own Judge. So
2 Rockruffs.
Double Rockruff, Multi-switch is another card in his hand, and I think I saw Acerola, so got basics down, but he doesn't have anything else. Isaiah, we can't see his hand.
I think I saw a fire Pokemon. Not sure if it was Magcargo or Slugma, though.
I see a Guzma as well. Rainbow Energy. Oh, this cannot be good.
Could we see a Magma Ring here? Looks like he's going to Guzma bring up Rockruff.
They both have an ugly hand, but Pram actually has Acerola. Perfect card.
And he top decks a Zoroark. And gets another Zoroark off the trade. Hand a DCE. All Pram has to do is Acerola.
This is as Pramawat as we've ever seen. Vintage Pram takes the knockout. This is not good for Isaiah.
Isaiah needs a top decker. This game is over.
That's it instantly.
Oh my gosh.
So it paid off for Pram. Big brain plays. He knew he would top deck the Zoroark off of the judge the next turn. So sometimes that happens.
Oh man,
it's unfortunate, but it's it's pretty funny. Quick game 2 out of the way, and now we are going to a long game 3. So
and that's sure, Pram's play, a little more disruptive might have seemed unorthodox, but Zoroark is just such a consistent deck. I mean, he has so many outs to find a Zoroark, which is all he needs to draw cards on his next turn. He can find Ultra Ball for Tapu Lele or Zoroark. He can find Great Ball for Tapu Lele or Zoroark. Yeah. So he just had all those outs. So I think going with the judge play, while maybe seeming a little aggressive, Pram knows, hey, I'm down a game on the winning into day 2. I might need to take a chance here. Took a chance, and it definitely paid off.
Definitely. If I'm Pram, I probably want to do that again if I can make that happen. Obviously, if I'm Isaiah, I probably want to get some more basics down and also maybe play a supporter that draws cards. So,
yeah, Isaiah going first means, I feel like that strategy is a little weaker since Isaiah's going first because he'll have a turn to set up his board.
Yeah.
Where he'll be able to play Nest Balls, he'll be able to play his Lilies, things like that. So, like we saw in game 1, I think Pram may opt for Lily this game, but it kind of honestly just depends on what Isaiah does with his first turn. Pram has the options to be a little more reactive than maybe normal.
Pram's got Rockruff and Zorua, so now it's kind of figuring out what to start. He opts to start the Zorua, probably remembers what happened in that first game with that switch Kukui play, so opting to just save it.
Start things off with an Acrobike. Looks like a Choice Band was one of the cards.
I think that's a Rainbow.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like he's going to get rid of the Rainbow. Wants to save the Choice Band. Does only play a couple copies of it, so he wants to have that option. Actually, 3 copies. It's like Beast Energy. Very good to draw this early.
But he passes. So
No
now
other
Pram is
basics.
eyeing that judge, and he's debating whether or not to bail Isaiah out of this. Maybe he can find a Lele off of this. Does he find anything?
Yeah, I think he's just kind of looking at the rest of his hands. He must have seen a couple different options, so he wants to just kind of see what the rest of his hand is. How's the rest of this turn going to play out? What do I want to do? So he's going to take a Zorua. Yeah. And I think his only supporter was the judge, but if Isaiah's hand isn't that good, he may not want to play it. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, he at least has the double, so he can attach to the Rockruff if he wants, or the Zorua on the bench. He has a Devour Field as well. I think I want to attach it to the Rockruff here.
Something Pram could try to do is maybe just pass, and then next turn send up his Zorua after this one gets knocked out. And if he found Zoroark plus some basic Pokemon and Devoured Field, which we see he has in his hand, he could knock out Isaiah's only Pokemon potentially, or even if Isaiah gets more Pokemon, he has a response to this Buzzwole maybe. So I think that's what he's debating here. Does he attach the energy to the Rockruff, or does he hold the double for next turn maybe?
If he does go with the Zoroark play the next turn, off of his only draw supporter right now is Judge.
Sure.
So, well, it worked out for him last time, but he opts for the Zorua, or the Rockruff, sorry. And he's just gonna Judge.
Go ahead and play it. I think this is smart. You could be a little greedier with the line of play I was kind of thinking of. This is definitely a lot safer. You're going to help develop your board more. Sure, you might bail Isaiah out of an awkward hand, but you give yourself more options, which is all you really want to do. If Pram can set up, he must feel pretty good about the matchup. So,
yeah, not playing Judge and hoping to just donk Isaiah the next turn is fine, but you're putting it all on that 4-card Judge, whereas this way, it doesn't care if Isaiah sets up. If he can get this Lycanroc going early, he'll be in a great board position See the fighting energy, but I don't.
I think I see an Ultra Ball, so he might have the option next turn to get the Lycanroc out. It's going to be a big 4 cards from Isaiah.
See something purple. He passes.
Any basic Pokemon?
I don't know.
Nest
Okay,
Ball.
there's a Nest Ball. Probably will take another Buzz.
Yeah, he could grab Buzzwole, maybe even Slugma. We've seen him prioritize the Magcargo line in this matchup. Looks like that's what he's bringing to the front. And yeah, Magcargo is just so important to like establish your draw engine quickly. I think that is the Slugma he just grabbed there.
Hard to tell. He also has a fighting energy in his hand, so could be Buzz. But probably he had a Garb in his hand as well. I can't see all the cards. I didn't see all the cards in his hand, so I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was the Slugma.
Yeah, it is Slugma. I saw the shadow.
So he could attach a basic to the active, and it looks like that's what he's going to do, setting up for a swing around next turn, and also is able to instruct for 1 and draws a Cynthia.
That is the correct play there. The right card you wanted to get off of instruct. So obviously, optimal play from Isaiah drawing that Cynthia.
Yeah.
Only the best plays from these players.
So we'll see off this Cynthia. Isaiah's probably going to want to get another Buzzwole in play this game. Maybe setting up Trubbish, maybe trying to set up your Sneasel Weavile line. It'll be interesting. I might have to ask him after this, like, how good the Weavile's actually been. Like, in theory, it seems solid, but if he actually ended up using it a lot today, it'll be interesting to see.
And I don't believe Pram knows it's in there yet. He hasn't seen it at all. So, could be the difference maker in this game way later, but we'll see. So Trubbish, that's good.
There we go, just a Sledgehammer knockout on the Fighting Week Zorua. Top decks the Lycanroc, actually, so
beautiful.
If he gets a Kukui, could knock out this Buzzwole trade. Gets a Guzma. Not sure what that other card was.
He can also get a Diancie.
Yep, that's true as well.
Which would do this. I actually don't know if I actually don't hate the idea of a Kukui play here. Just because it draws more cards,
sure,
and his hand is going to be so low, but he is eyeing the Diancie, so maybe he wants to save his Lele's, not needlessly put down more GXs.
Yeah, which is fair, and he only has 2 cards left in his hand, and they're the exact 2 cards he needs now. 130 damage on this Buzzwole, and Isaiah does not have much of a response to this.
Yeah, Pram did have to discard a couple items, so there's, I think, 4 items in the discard. But Pram will at least get 2 knockouts on this with this Lycanroc. And Isaiah, now this is probably not what he expected.
Yeah, no immediate response for Isaiah.
And I believe this is Pram's second turn, right?
Yeah, so that was definitely a good setup on his second turn. Got the Diancie, got 2 stage 1s out.
Kind of a mirror of what happened the first game. With Isaiah having that incredible second turn with the switch Kukui.
Sure.
So now Pram looks to be definitely in the driver's seat. He has Magcargo and Oranguru, so he can, get whatever card he wants here. But whatever card he wants better be pretty special.
Yeah, and he also, he does have to thin his hand down to 2 cards or less in order to fully utilize the Oranguru plus the Smooth Over option. So we'll see if he's able to do that. Does he have things like Ultra Ball or other things he can just play out of his hand? We'll just have to see what else he has access to. And with 4 items, he can hit this Lycanroc for 80 with a Choice Band 110, so he can set up like a 2-shot or attempt to 2-shot this Lycanroc, and I think that's going to be his best option if he has a Rainbow Energy at all.
Well, if he hits it for 80, then the next turn he could use Sledgehammer to knock it out. But he's opting to attach to the Buzz on the back. So maybe he is eyeing a Magcargo, maybe a Guzma to hit that Zork. Pram only has a card in his hand.
Yeah.
So Isaiah maybe thinks he can grab like a quick knockout, a 2-shot knockout on the Zork.
Sure.
Obviously, the strength of this Buzzgarb deck is that it forces your opponent to play into Sledgehammer. So no matter how, what Isaiah does here, at some point Sledgehammer is going to be active, which will be very powerful. So let's see what that card is.
I'm not sure how many cards he has in his hand. Looks like he can instruct. Yeah.
So he draws.
It looks like a Sneasel. I wonder what's going through Pram's mind after seeing that.
Now he sees that. You know, Sneasel's going to do 150 right now. But this was interesting. This Buzz is sitting on the bench, but it can't attack right now. So I guess he's just feeding him the Trubbish. Oh, he's not done yet.
Field Blower, not a card we've seen a lot today. Looks like he does play one copy of it.
Gets rid of a Shrine, or a Devoured Field.
Yep. Oh my
rips
goodness.
a Lily.
Lily for 6.
Too
also
easy.
had the Zorua off the prizes. Just what you want to see if you're Pramawat there.
Yeah, one of the problems, you know, something that makes Zork a lot weaker against Garb decks in this format is that Bridget is gone, and Bridget was the supporter to set up. And so now you're using Nest Ball, and every time you try and set up, you're, you know, putting more items in there, making Garbodor stronger. You know, obviously Isaiah only has this lone Trubbish active, but still something to be cognizant of. Pram has an energy here. This is still pretty good. He'll be able to attach to this new Rockruff.
Yeah.
Get the next Lycanroc going.
Yeah, and looks like he's going to be able to favor Lycanroc more this game because of the way he's been able to draw, which I think is what you want to do as the Zoroark player in this matchup. Favor Lycanroc and just take the game at your own pace a lot slower.
Yeah. And even if he, you know, he doesn't get any sort of Lycanroc shenanigans or an energy attachment this turn, he'll be able to knock out this Buzz when it comes active and get out of the Sledgehammer range in following turns.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things as the Zoroark deck is when you're going into Buzzwole turn or into the Sledgehammer turns, you want to make sure you do not have a Zoroark in your active spot. You want to make them play a Guzma, make them find the cards to knock out a Zoroark and get full value out of the Sledgehammer. He'll still hit for a lot of damage, but it's not knocking out a Zoroark.
Yeah. In addition, you want to make sure that you have a play the following turn to immediately get out of it. Because if your opponent gets, you know, 2 turns of Sledgehammer, 3 turns, the value there just it's exponential.
Yeah, I feel like if you ever get 2 turns of Sledgehammer against a Zoroark deck, you just like are in a commanding position through the rest of the game.
Yeah. Isaiah's gonna Nest Ball for a Trubbish. You know, wants to threaten that Garb. I believe there's 6 items in the discard, so they're starting to add up.
Yep. Shrine of Punishments comes into play. And yeah, he's still hitting for a lot here, doing 170 damage for just 1 energy. Absolutely crazy. You know, Kukui, actually, if he has Kukui plus Shrine, that would be 200 damage. That would knock out the Lycanroc here, so...
And he does have Smooth Over still.
If he hasn't used Abyssal Hand, which I don't think he has, he could get there and actually end up taking the knockout on this Lycanroc. It's crazy how much damage Sledgehammer can do after all these modifiers.
He actually can't use Abyssal Hand. That card has rotated.
Instruct.
Chip, you know, your encyclopedia apparently has failed us.
Just this one time.
Yeah. But this is a pretty big turn. It's very big. Oh, I like this a lot from Isaiah. This is a huge swing turn.
Yeah. We're going to see Smooth Over. He actually has the counter energy as well on the Buzzwole, which I think is what he just attached there.
Yep.
So he's going to have the option, if Pram wants to chase something on his bench, he'll be able to utilize Swing Around once again.
Yep.
So let's see what he put
3,
on.
Almost certainly a Kukui up there. I think he's checking to see what supporter he's played.
Yep.
Kukui. This is a big turn of events for Isaiah and against Pram. So,
Jeez.
now Pram has to think. He has a Devour Field in his hand, I think.
I think he does have the 2 more basics he needs as well, which is good. And now he needs to find a double colorless to be able to attack with the Zoroark. I think that's his only play, right, is to try to attack with the Zoroark and knock out this Buzzwole.
Yep.
Guzma doesn't do anything for you because then, well, I guess you would be at 3 prizes apiece, so he can't fully utilize the Swing Around, but then he can just attach another Fighting and still use it, so
yeah,
it's tough.
So he's got an Ultra Ball here. Probably opting to take another Zoroark, I would guess, just to maximize your draw. I think he has a Cynthia as well, so I'd want to keep that and play that. You know, you're looking for a double.
He could also, I mean, he may not want to hit the Zoroark, though, because, like, Now he has to play around Weavile, right? There's a Weavile in play. He's got to be mindful of. There's just so many things in Isaiah's deck he has to be mindful of. So he may, like, we could see him just play the Cynthia. He's got Acerola as an option, maybe. Could trade, then Acerola, then trade again with the new Zoroark to keep multiple abilities out of play. Looks like we'll see Wonder Tag. So now 3 abilities in play. Evil Admonition will hit for 150 base damage. Can definitely stack up very quickly if you're not careful.
I think I didn't see that supporter. It was full art though. Was that a Mallow that we were looking at, or
looks like it
was
is a Mallow?
So double colorless and maybe
another. He needs another basic. I'm not sure if he had one in his hand or not.
I didn't see.
So those are the 2 cards he needs for sure. If he already has one of those 2 options, he can try to set himself up to respond to an assumed Weavile next turn, maybe even another Buzzwole. Yeah, he'll have options here. That's one of the things that is just so good about Mallow in Zoroark decks, is that you just leave yourself with options always.
He's taking a Lycanroc, I think. So my guess is he has another basic. He also has the Acerola. So if the Weavile comes up and smacks him for a lot of damage, he can just negate that turn and keep up in that race. So I don't see. Oh, there is a Rockruff there, so that's good. He trades the Cynthia, rips those 2 that he needed.
There's another Rockruff.
Yep.
We know he has that DCE. See if he uses the Lycanroc this turn. I'm not sure what he would want to bring up. I think the Buzzwole is the threat you need to deal with right now.
Yep.
Worry about things like Weavile and Magcargo later, and that looks like that's what Pram's going to do.
Yep. The Weavile, like you said, only doing 150 damage. So, you know, he could knock out a Lele, but that's, you know, that's kind of it. And then Pram can just evolve his Pokemon and kind of save it. So I don't know how many trainers are in there, how many items. I don't think he played any last turn.
Actually, Isaiah could have potentially knocked out this Zoroark, surprisingly. With a Choice Band plus Kukui, that'd be 200 damage, and with 10 already on that Zoroark. That's
true.
Could have maybe gotten there, but since he sent up that Garbodor, I think he just didn't have those cards available to him.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got an Acrobike in his hand. He still has access to Smooth Over, so he can get any card out of his deck. You know, Magcargo is a reprint of a card, Magcargo, that was really good when it originally existed back in 2005 and 2006. Just as good today in 2018.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the utility of just finding any card you want.
Oh, yeah.
So strong. You know, these decks kind of flow through Magcargo. So it looks like he's smoothing over right now. I don't know how many cards in his hand. I didn't think he had enough to burn to draw.
Maybe if he has something like a Kukui or a Lily, he can draw whatever this card is.
Yeah.
Or even an Acrobike, maybe. I think he may have had an Acrobike.
He does have
in his
Acro.
hand.
Yep, you're right, actually.
So he can use that. See what he does, though. Maybe he has some other line he wants to go with first. Only 10 minutes left in this game. Coming down to the wire here. This is the win and in, guys. Winner of this game advances to day 2 of the tournament. Will continue to be able to play for $5,000 and the title of regional champion. And the loser of this game is unfortunately going to be eliminated from the tournament.
So Isaiah takes a, was that a Rainbow?
May have been the Beast Energy, I think, but he doesn't have a...
No, Beast is,
okay. So it must have been a
banished.
Rainbow. Beast has been sent to the Lost Zone.
Yeah. So he grabs another Trubbish, realizing that Trubbish is going to do a lot of damage. Oh, he takes a Unit Energy, and he Guzmas up the
Diancie.
Nope,
oh, no,
Zorua.
Okay.
Wants to limit Pram to just a single trade.
Yep. This is smart.
Yep.
Takes away Pram's options, and he does go down to just 2 prizes remaining. And also, at the same time, it takes away Pram's draw options, but it still keeps all those abilities in play.
Yep.
So if Pram doesn't deal with this Weavile, Weavile can definitely come up and clean up this game potentially. So
he's gonna play this this Devour Field, and actually now he has the Acerola if he wanted, so he could like pick up that damaged Lele.
Yep.
And that's what he's gonna do. And now, you know, he has this lone Zork, and I don't believe Isaiah has a way to knock this out on the next turn. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many items Pram has played. I don't think it's enough for Garbodor to knock out this Zoroark. I think it is getting up there a little bit, but definitely not enough for a one-hit knockout, even after the 20 damage that's been taken from Shrine of Punishments.
Isaiah does have 2 Stretcher. I think he's used both as well.
Yeah,
so
I definitely saw at least the one. I'm not sure. I can't remember if at the beginning of the game he used one as well.
So this, if that's true, then this Weavile, kind of a big late game sweeper, is going to be out of this game, and that might be kind of what Pram is planning. He's just going to go wide with these abilities because he needs to protect these little Pokemon on the bench if that's what Isaiah plans to chase. Pram is out of Acerola as well. Well, he has Palpad, actually. I take that back. So he could put it back and reuse it to save the Zoroark.
Yeah, I don't know. Palpad is a card that most decks, like Zoroark decks at least, should be playing right now, just because you can give yourself so much options later on, so many options later on, I should say, and still trade into those supporters because you shuffle them back in.
Yeah. This really is coming right down to the wire here. Pram's eyeing double.
Colorless. See what he wants to do. He does have Ultra Ball in his hand. He wants to not play a lot of items, though. Looks like we'll just see a Riotous Beating take the knockout on Weavile. So Pram needs to take 2 more prizes before Isaiah can take 1 EX knockout or 2 prizes himself.
Yeah. I don't know how many Guzma Isaiah has played in this game.
He's got 4 in his list, so as long he may have access to 1 or 2 more. He definitely played one the previous turn. Checking Pram's discard, just wants to make sure he's aware of all the resources that have been used to this point. What does he have left? What can I do to put myself in an advantageous position as we enter the final turns of this game? There's a Rainbow, so we will be able to attack with Trash Avalanche. But that's actually the 6 on the dice, not the 1. Yeah, they fixed that real fast. Rainbow Energy does not place 6 damage counters on the Pokemon it's attached to.
Yeah, pretty weak energy if that was...
See Smooth Over right now from Isaiah. What's the one card you think right now he's going to want to look for? It's tough to say.
I'm thinking maybe... Now, Guzma's not going to do anything now because it's in his active. He doesn't run... Well, he runs Switch, actually, so it could be Switch.
Plus Guzma?
Maybe he wants to do a Switch Guzma play. Other than that, I mean... I don't know, I guess maybe another Shrine if he still has some of those left.
Looks like that might be what he's eyeing up. Just try to spread a little bit of damage, do a little bit of more residual damage. Try to set up to 2-hit KO this Zoroark. I think he's probably looked at Pram's discard pile and seen, okay, he's used 2 Acerolas. Pram would need to use Palpad plus trade into the Acerola in order to heal a Pokemon once again.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily very likely that could happen. So we're going to see a Lily drawing 4 cards, including the one he smoothed over for.
So now he's setting himself up. You know, obviously, Judge isn't gonna disrupt Isaiah because he has Smooth Over, but you know, Pram can maybe hope to just deny him the combo pieces. I think what Pram wants here is that Palpad for the Acerola, if he can find it. Because I think if he does that, then he denies Isaiah the ability to take the 2 prizes to win. But we'll see. I didn't see how many trainers were in Pram's discard, so I don't know how much Trash Lance is doing right now.
If it was enough to win, he would have attacked by now, I'm sure. So we'll see soon enough whenever he places his damage counters. Ultra Ball here, maybe just going to find another Trash Lance to evolve that second Trebush.
Does. Kind of just burning cards also.
Yeah, it doesn't. If he does get judged, he may know that Pram's list plays a heavy count of Judge. If he does get judged, he wants to make sure those are cards that he doesn't draw into. He wants to increase his good draws as much as possible.
And we are under 5 minutes left as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is going to finish because there's 2 prizes left for both players, I think. But this is really just all the way down to the end.
So looks like 7 items in the discard, so he did 120 damage. and then ticked once for the Shrine of Punishments.
Yeah, so we'll see what Pram gets.
I kind of think Pram needs something like Pal Pad this turn, plus finding Acerola.
The thing is, too, is that if he plays this Pal Pad, that's 8 items in the discard, which means, you know, if he uses like a Lele to fish it out, then that Lele is at risk of Guzma's Shrine, Trash Lanch. So Pram needs a little bit of luck on his side to draw well with the trade, and also play this optimally. But maybe
another Ultra Ball comes out. That's 8 items now in the discard pile. Eyeing up another Zoroark. Worst case scenario, he could just retreat and attack with the fresh one. Hope Isaiah doesn't have a Guzma, but with the smooth over Magcargo on the board, that's kind of a bum strategy.
Isaiah also put that second. Well, no, never mind. The sequencing doesn't work with. Oh, he's opting to knock out. Maybe he's going with the Judge play here. This is smart. Now Isaiah needs to either find the next Magcargo, or just naturally draw the Guzma off of these 4 cards. And if not, Pram will take this game.
Yeah, I don't think Pram has any other way to heal this Zoroark, so we're just probably going to see him retreat into the clean Zoroark and take a knockout. And just, like you said, he's hoping Isaiah does not draw the Guzma here. So, going to come down to a Judge here. Not quite the same as getting in late in the game, but similar effect, honestly.
And I believe that multi-switch was discarded a long time ago, so
doesn't have options there.
Doesn't have options with that.
I think 9 now. 8 or 9.
Oh. Oh boy. Does he have the Guzma?
I think he has one more trade left at least. Maybe both trades.
I can't see what's in his hand.
Nope, 2 trades.
Comes down to this.
I can't see Isaiah's hand the way he's holding it. Does he have the Guzma in his hand or not? Gonna see what he promotes here. Looks like it's gonna be the other Garbodor. Does he have
Ultra
Guzma?
Ball. Does he have a Lele still?
He doesn't play Lele, but he could find Magcargo with this, and if he's able to smooth over plus Instruct, if he has the Guzma in his deck, he will be able to win the game here. So he's going to use Smooth Over, finds the Guzma, Instruct draws 3 cards.
There
Guzma
we go.
Takes the knockout on that Zoroark on the bench.
Super well played by Isaiah.
Wow.
Down to the wire. That was a close one. That was